Hello, Sexy Squad. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please do me a favor. Smash the subscribe button, smash that bell so you know whenever I post a video. It really helps me out. And it's also a way for us to find each other. Guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about the first 3 days of the Invictus games. Like I said, I'm going to break this up into 3 parts. When I'm filming this now, the games are not completely over yet, but I do want to do these little check-ins. It's going to be a little bit after the fact that it's gone live, but I still wanted to do these check-ins to follow it with you all. So I am just in love with these games. As many of you guys know, I did not discover the awesomeness that is the Sussexes until kind of late in the game, and so this is my first time watching the Invictus games, or the first year really knowing more about what it is, you know, the really wonderful cause and initiative about what it is. So it was really inspiring for me to watch. And actually this past weekend, a little bit on Sunday, my husband and I made a whole thing out of it. You know, we watched the first, I believe Sunday was the first day of the games. We watched it and we sort of made a little date out of it almost. You know, we made pancakes and made breakfast and we watched the game together. So that was actually really nice. I feel like watching these veterans, as I spoke about in the video where we covered the opening ceremony, watching these veterans kind of like muster in them the courage to do this stuff. That, like, let me just get this straight. And my husband, when we were watching this, he was saying that, you know, he was absolutely blown away by some of the track runners because they were running faster, if not just as fast, if not faster than the average athlete would. You know, some of the ones who were less injured. Of course, you had some people who had some really unique injuries. And even that, you know, we spoke about this on the last point, you know, just reaching into you to muster that spirit of, you know, staying in the game. And the mayor of Dusseldorf also talks about that spirit as well, you know, of just like reaching in there to find that strength, that same strength that you use to fight for your country, you know, putting it into this athleticism. It's very admirable. I mean, these are heroes. So I basically did go ahead and pull up the website. I'm going to go through some of the high level of days 1, 2, and 3 of the stats that I was seeing. But I am not a huge sports person. I will go ahead and say that. So, and this is my first Invictus game, so I'm not going to say that I'm like some sort of expert here. But I did feel like I got a fairly, good idea. I feel like I got a fairly good idea. I will definitely say it seems like to a certain level across the board. Now, you guys will remember that there is, let me see if off the top of my head I can name most of the stuff. So you have athletics, and athletics, to my understanding, encompasses basically everything. And mind you, again, everybody who's competing in this is a veteran that have been injured. So, like, again, that is just freaking amazing. So you have basically really an Olympics style games. You have disc throwing. Under athletics, you have disc throwing. I think you have weightlifting. You have, I think, track. Yeah, so athletics, you have stuff like that. I think you have rowing, weight, powerlifting, stuff like that. And then, and don't quote me on this, I might be a little bit wrong. Powerlifting might be a category in itself. Then you have, you know, the average type stuff. You have swimming. You have wheelchair rugby. You have wheelchair basketball. So it's definitely like Olympic style games. Now, that's just in general to talk about the average stuff that's going on during these Olympic style games. But day 1, day 2, and day 3, depending on what the schedule was, maybe some of those things would have been played, maybe some of them weren't, and they're saved for day 4, 5, and 6. Basically, that's what it's to say. But let me just go ahead and say that it was really nice to see that spirit of that, like we spoke about last time, that spirit of that person who maybe is missing an arm or missing a leg, or maybe they have an injury that we can't see so clear to our eye, but it's there and it's affecting their mobility, or it's affecting their cognitive function, or it's affecting their cardiovascular function, or whatever it may be. And the audience is just cheering them on. I feel like that's what we got to see more of than what we saw in the opening ceremony. You know, I feel like the opening ceremony was just a sense to get us to know the different countries and things like that. Whereas here, we can also really see that spirit of the game coming to life. We see the mascot coming out. We actually get to see Prince Harry a little bit in I think it was day 2. I can't remember if it was day 1 or day 2, but we do see Prince Harry in the crowd. No, it had to be day 2, I think, because day 1 I don't think we saw him, and my husband and I, and we actually didn't get to see everything, so it could have been after we stopped watching or something, but it could have been when we weren't looking. And I was like, I wonder why we didn't see Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. My husband's like, I don't know. I'm like, they're at the hotel room sleeping off the hangover. Because like the opening ceremony was so high energy, even that, and they deserve it, they deserve it. I don't know if that was what they were doing, but it just made a little chuckle to myself. I laugh at myself a lot. But I love seeing them happy. I love seeing them doing something that they're so passionate about. Like, those derangers are crazy. Crazy. They would literally, like, put down injured veterans just to feel better about putting down Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. It's like, dude, this is so much bigger than them. Have a heart, Like, candidly, if I'm speaking really honest with you, even after I posted my first review of the ceremony, there's like, a fifth of the people who don't like that video. What do you not like about a person who was injured in war protecting democracies that you enjoy feeling good about themselves and using their body? What about that? Don't you? Anyway, misery loves company. But it's absolutely wonderful, the cause here, and I'm going to keep celebrating it up, not just for the Sussexes, not just for the mayor of Dusseldorf, not even for the people who are the staff members, the project managers, the coaches who work with this, but also just quite literally for the veterans. It's like, dude, pat your back, because you deserve it. I mean, it's friggin' amazing. So let's talk about this a little bit. So day 1, the most notable thing for me was definitely the track. I mean, these people were running fast. They were running fast. And the ones who were constricted by their injuries, like I told you, the people surrounding them, the people encouraging them was wonderful. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. The people encouraging them was wonderful. There would be people out in the crowd. And this is not just day 1, but something also notable that I really liked, because I actually watched it live on YouTube. I know that you could watch it live on the website, but for some reason the website was, actually no. The first day we watched it live on the website, I think we were having, I can't remember if it was the website or YouTube, but we were having problems with it. So, but in the end we were able to see it. And one of the things that I liked, I don't know if it was on the website or YouTube, I'm sorry, I'm blanking, but it would show these sort of segments in between, almost segments really, where it was talking to the people who were attending, it was talking to the family members of people. They also did these sort of interviews almost with people who were participating. They did one with the mayor of Dusseldorf. This wasn't just on day 1, it was across the board. But I really, really liked that. And that put more into perspective for me that there's this whole world here that's happening that possibly everyday people don't really get. And that would be my recommendation for people to look at, like, look into what the people are saying about this, the people who are the family members of the veterans competing, the people who literally are just veterans themselves who went to enjoy. I feel like this is something that really should be exposed out to the bigger world. There needs to be more buzz around this. It needs to be featured on, news channels, in magazines, on social media, outside of just the Invictus Games, channels. They're very, very present on their website. They're very normal to regular with posting, very regular with their social channels. But I feel like the buzz needs to get around, because I feel like it's almost like a well-known secret. It's like the people, the veterans who are really within this ecosystem, I guess, they know about it, but I feel like everybody needs to know about this, because it's the ish. And I feel like, honestly, the same way that you pay for a Formula One ticket and you go to a distant destination, to go and see a Formula One game, or the way that you might go see the actual Olympics. I feel like people should be really excited about this the same way, because this supports a much bigger cause. It blows my mind. Now, I do need to talk a little bit about who I felt like we saw it seem like was dominating over day 1, 2, and 3. So you've got track, you've got the athletics that's going on in between. And I'm sorry if I'm blanking, but I feel like on day one, we saw, as far as athletics, I think we saw disc throwing. I think we saw that. I think we saw some things on the track. And I'm sorry if I'm blanking on the names, but on the track, basically, you saw people like running on the track. And some of these people had, how do you call it, prosthetics and things like that. And those people, like, there were some people who had like sort of a guide to help them go through if they needed to hold their arm while they were running, or if they needed to push their wheelchair. Anyway, on the track, you basically had people who were running. You also had people who were on bikes, almost like bike wheelchairs. I'm not completely sure the name of it. And it was really, really nice, like, it was really, really nice. I really, really loved it. I definitely think like the U.S., the U.K., America, the U.K., France did really, really good on a lot of stuff. Australia did really good on a lot of stuff, like track, basketball. Again, this might not have been in days on the first day, but somewhere within day 1 and 2 and 3. I did see Colombia come in on several things. Ukraine seemed really good on like sort of like, I don't even know what you call it, like strength type sports, like the deadlifting, the powerlifting, or whatever you call it, and just the more like muscle mass type sports. Whereas it definitely seemed like the U.S. and the U.K. was dominating more in the classic American and British sports, like rugby and basketball. I feel like I saw a little bit of Poland getting in there. Don't hate me, but I feel like Italy didn't do so great in the first 3 days. Like, okay, let me just go ahead and say the countries that seemed like they didn't do so great in the first 3 days, but it seemed like it had to do more with like the size of their team or their talent, because it definitely seemed like Canada, Australia, UK, and US had the biggest teams. Germany did good too. Germany did good. I feel like Colombia did good on some things too. I remember seeing Colombia's flag quite a lot. But Jordan, Poland, Israel came in on a few things too. But Poland, Israel, wait, let me pull up the names of the different countries, because I want to make sure that I'm not discounting anyone. Oh, and you got to also remember the Unconquered team. I really like that. The fact that they brought a team in there made up of people from different nations. Yeah, Nigeria, I feel like in the first 3 days, I don't even remember seeing any team members from Nigeria. Maybe I missed out. You guys let me know in the comments. But I was not able to watch everything minute by minute, so maybe I missed that. Germany seemed to be doing pretty well. They weren't showing up as much as it seemed like US, UK, and France. Like I said, France came hype. Australia, I saw was really good in terms of a lot of the stats. Canada, I don't know why, but I feel like the first 3 days, maybe I didn't see them compete in a lot of stuff, but I feel like I didn't really see Canada. I'm sorry, I'm going to turn the air on. I don't feel like I saw Canada really compete in too much stuff in the first 3 days. Let me know if I'm blanking. I did see Denmark. Belgium. Belgium performed quite well as well. Estonia was another one of the ones where I just feel like I really didn't see them, as far as stats. I'm talking about stats here, where I really didn't see them show up as much. Well, of course they showed up, but their stats didn't seem to be as high as some of the other countries. Georgia was good. I feel like in the stuff that they did compete in. I don't know if like maybe certain countries just had less representation or something, but it definitely just seemed like, Netherlands did good. Jordan again seemed like it fell off a little bit. Italy fell off a little bit. Nigeria, I just feel like I never saw them. Like, I don't know if I just tuned out, if I wasn't watching when they went. New Zealand did really good on some stuff. Poland, kind of. Romania, they did good. And South Korea, I didn't see them as much. Ukraine, again, they were really dominating. It seemed like on the big man slash big woman type stuff, which makes sense. Again, I really go back to what Prince Harry said about, like, honestly worrying about Ukraine the most, because it's like they have to go back home to a war zone. I think on the first day, speaking of Ukraine, we actually see Tyre. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right this time, because the last time I was butchering her name. I even did my own little research. I'm like, let me see how, but I hear some people say Tyra, like almost like Tyra, like Tyra Banks. But I also hear some other people say Tyre. So I'm not completely sure, but I think we actually see her doing some powerlifting, which is really, really awesome. Like, dude, just think about this. Not only has she fought for her country that's been in the middle of a senseless war, you've also seen her that she had 2 heart attacks. You know, she's not a young woman, but she's not an old woman. Suffered 2 heart attacks, you know, suffered injuries of war, suffered physical, mental, emotional, you know, injuries of war. And she's still trucking. Bless her little heart, she's still trucking. But yeah, I thought that was really, really nice. I definitely thought the wheelchair rugby was something that I've never seen before. I mean, okay, let me just go ahead and say this. I have only known one rugby player in my life, okay? Whereas people who've played football, not necessarily professionally, but in high school and stuff, I've known those people. Those people are in my family. You know, those people are literally my siblings. So I feel like American football is something that's like, I just feel like it's more prevalent in America. But I do know that rugby is like a really, really, you know, treasured sport or whatever. There is one guy who I knew who played rugby. And all I can kind of speak to is his temperament. I remember him being very, very bulky, because apparently you get very bulky with that type of sport, really top heavy. And apparently for them, you know, he explained to me like American football is basically, you know, a child's version of rugby, because you don't have all that extra armor with rugby. And, you know, a lot of your you know, body is way more exposed than it is, but you're still getting hit with a lot of that blunt force as people bang and stuff into each other. Even watching these guys on the wheelchair rugby, you know, I can definitely see a lot of commitment and pride in the sport, you know, there, but also just they're not afraid to get down and dirty. I remember at even one point some dude, I think, fell off of his wheelchair. Like, he did not care. He kept going. So day 2, I think this was the day, like I said, that Prince Harry showed up. I'm almost certain that he put medals. He gave out some medals that day. We didn't see him for very long. I feel like it was only through one segment, if I'm not mistaken. But I also could have that could have been one of the days where I didn't see everything. We see more of the wheelchair rugby. Like I said, it's really a hugely committed sport. And again, with that, I mean, I could go and double check the stats on the website, but I feel like from my memory, that was another one where the UK, the Netherlands, Australia, US, they seem to really be dominating. Don't keep my word on that. The Netherlands, I feel like, you know what? Let me just go check. So the stats. So wheelchair rugby. So Australia did compete, and they did quite good. Like, generally looking at all the stats, I feel like looking at wheelchair rugby, it's like UK at the top, US next, and then maybe somewhere in between Australia and France. Now, I feel like France has been on this kick generally across all sports. We saw this from the World Cup recently. it's like sometimes they do really good, and sometimes it's not like they do really, really bad, but like it's like I don't know. I don't even know. It's like the French language. It's like I don't even know. But no, France did really, really good. I feel like US, UK, France, and Australia dominated that. I feel like they really did really good. New Zealand, they did pretty good. I think they didn't win a game. Um, but the Netherlands wasn't on there. So that, yeah, I think I was thinking about New Zealand. Um, we see, yeah, we see a lot of stuff with the rugby. The powerlifting was really cool. I also wanted to note, like, just generally, I like that we saw some. I wouldn't say we saw. It's like it's almost like they tried to educate us or do these little learning segments where we learn about, different fleets, the Air Force, about the Royal Military. It's almost like they try to educate us as well about veteran life, about history with the military and things like that. So I could appreciate that. They also did moments of um, I don't know. I don't know what you would even call it because I'm not really a military person, but like rituals? I don't know. That sounds like so tribalistic, but I don't know. These like military ceremonies. There we go. I feel like it was like they did these ceremonies and things like that. Um the Yeah, I feel like day 2 was generally kind of similar to day 1. I feel like day 1 there was more of a focus on the stuff on the track. We saw more of the wheelchair rugby. We saw a little bit more of the powerlifting. I don't think we had powerlifting on day 1. And we saw more of the sort of segments, more of those little educational segments like we talked about. And then on day 3, I think day 3 is the day that we actually see Prince Harry award those medals. I also really like that we saw sort of this level of diplomacy between the opponents. It's the same way that of where people shake hands after a game, and you actually saw in all of the stadiums, all the gymnasiums or whatever, hashtag a home for respect, or you would just see a home for respect or whatever. And I really got that sense, like when you watch a lot of games with soccer or basketball or whatever it might be, football, rugby, you oftentimes see a lot of egos flying around, right? Like that's generally something you see in sports a lot, is egos flying around. And I did not see that once. Not once. I mean, I could have missed something. I saw competitiveness. I saw, people really competing and wanting to win, but I did not see, I didn't really see egos. So I definitely felt that spirit of respect there. That comes back, I feel like, to just them being veterans, period, But I also think that comes to the fact that they're all there for a common cause, which is really to like support themselves, support their recovery and recuperation, not only physically but mentally. So yeah, I thought that was freaking awesome. We also see the rowing, and I thought that the rowing actually, that would be really nice if we could actually see them on a boat maybe next year. I know they probably don't want to do that because there's some logistical things to that. But again, like I said, I could go again to. I feel like I explained pretty well the countries that I felt like were kind of dominating a lot of the stats. But at the same time, I feel like, again, it's not even about that. It's about everybody getting out there, having fun, reaching in deep, and just keeping to that spirit of like in it for the game, and helping each other out. You see so many people help each other out. There are even times where I saw like different competing team members who literally would stop and go back and help another team member, and risk that, like, them having a chance to actually come in a better place, but actually going back and helping a team member because, that's the spirit of the whole thing. Even, in those sports that were less competitive of like, you know, active movement, walking, running, whatever it is. Like even in the powerlifting, you know, I still felt that spirit of like camaraderie, and I feel like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's something that deserves our attention. It deserves our support. The crazies who are out there, you know, talking about this like this is just some project for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to be like, ooh, look at me. It's just like, the point, you missing the whole point. But I really, really loved it. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. We will be back in part 3 to talk about days 4, 5, and 6. I want to know what y'all think. Let me know in the comments. And if you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that bell so you know whenever I post a video. Subscribe, boom, boom, boom. Smash it, smash the subscribe button, smash the bell. I would love to have you join our community, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Bye.